Network Extra. It's Louisville Lacrosse versus Boston College today at U of L Lacrosse Stadium. I am Clay Abels. Joining me is Patty Norton here on the ACC Network Extra. ACC action here on this Saturday afternoon. A busy day in Louisville, Kentucky, Patty, and it starts here with the number one team in the country coming in town, Boston College versus Louisville. BC coming in off a national championship, looking to defend their crown, and Louisville, a team on a spark right now, their best win streak 4 in a row since 2016.
I mean, all credit to Louisville having a great start, but welcome to the show, y'all. This is not just Boston College, not just defending champ, but current number one, and has every statistic and evidence proving Wildy number one. It's going to be a fun show.
Boston College 5-0 on the season, 18-3 record last year, as we said, winning their national championship. A phenomenal team that they bring back with them this year. As you see, the number one ranking as well coming in. 5 preseason All-Americans. We'll break down more of that as we get close to the start of the game. Patty, from the Louisville side, off to a strong start. It started really going back to last week with our call on that big win against Virginia Tech. They've really been on a roll here. It looks like a completely different team from 1 year before.
Yeah, and nothing gives you more confidence coming into any game than already having an ACC win in your back pocket. That's huge. Usually that's what you're hunting most of the season, and they've already got it. So they have zero pressure on them today. Louisville has zero pressure today, right? That nobody's expecting them to win. So they get to go out there and pop BC in the mouth, see if they can, handle it, which I'm sure they will. And first of all, Louisville gets the first win of the day. Check out this weather.
It's fantastic.
I mean, come on.
75 degrees outside, sunny, very little wind, a perfect day to play lacrosse after months here of dreary weather in the Kentuckiana area. Nice bright days. We see both these teams hitting the field, and it's going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. As we talked, Louisville coming in on a hot streak, 4 wins, the longest streak under Scott Teeter, who's now in his 5th season as the head coach here of the Cardinals. Louisville coming out with the black uniforms today.
Shake it up.
With the white bottoms.
Underdog.
And then Boston College in their white with the burgundy colors on the back of the numbers of the jerseys as we get ready to go down to the midfield here for our opening face-off. And this has been a strong point. Louisville winning every draw control to open up this season in their first 6 games. Maddie McKee on the Louisville side. She'll step in there as we get ready to go underway here as Charlotte North, the star of the show.
You're going to get sick of that name.
You're going to hear a lot about her today. We're going to talk about she's facing off against McKee as we get ready to be underway here from U of L Lacrosse Stadium. Louisville versus BC on the ACC Network Extra.
Now, when you say Louisville's won every draw control, they won every draw control battle per game.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean they won. It'd be kind of impossible to win every draw control, but they
never lose.
Right, they've won the battle on the board each game. That's stat line for each game.
As we'll see violation to open up.
As has Boston College on their side. They've won that battle every time out.
So Louisville will take the open here. It's going to be Nicole Peroni on possession here, number 88. You'll see her name a lot today. She's leading the score along with Hannah Morris, 19 goals each on the season. They're 7th in the NCAA in scoring, both of them really feeding well off each other, Patty.
And right off the bat, you can see when I had a chance to talk to Coach Walker, she said, the 3 they're focusing on for Louisville are 88, 4, and 6, and that's Peroni, and that's who brought the ball into the offensive end. And she had pressure on her all the way out at the 30. So they are they don't let her ease into things. And a caused turnover gets the ball back to Boston College.
Nice early swing there from Nakazawa, but she is denied. Now BC on the move, one of the best offensive teams in the country here. Here comes the Eagles flying down the field.
Oh, from X. Expecting that shot, had the great feed to the opposite post and tucked it right in. Wow.
Too easy for Boston College.
Yeah.
Scoring off the caused turnover, making Louisville pay in an early score. And what we talked about in the pregame, some of the talent that is all throughout this Boston College program. And it starts off, as we said, Charlotte North, the leader you saw up there. But on the score, Cassidy Weeks, who we talked about, she finished off the play. Look at the speed, just flying down for BC.
And that could not make the coaching staff more happy for Boston College, because I always, every time I ask the coaches, tell me somebody's name that won't get a lot of, stat calls by the, people doing the broadcast, but who just does everything for you. I couldn't even finish the question. She yelled out, Cassidy Weeks. Like, she does everything for us. She does everything right for 60 minutes for 4 years. So, wow, great for her to get that first goal.
And that was just, as we talked about, illustrating the speed of this Boston College team as they
these
just
refs
jump.
better be ready to rock.
They just jump off the page. As you talked about Cassidy Weeks here, a senior Already 8 scores on the season, and they're a quick one to open us up, and BC will win the second draw control of the match, and they're flying back again into the attacking third.
Well, both times they've shown that they are just relentless. If that ball touches the turf, Boston College is all over it. You have to be ready to battle for every ground ball.
We work outside here off to the left. BC gets set, and it's going to be Martello on the handle. As we watch this matchup today, it was an interesting combination last week. The speed of Louisville going up against Virginia Tech, who's tried to slow the pace down.
Right.
This is certainly a Boston College team that's going to want to match speed today.
Ooh,
A foul there.
I was about to say, oh, no, whistle.
I was going to say a little bit of a bump on the roll.
One thing you cannot give the attackers for Boston College is free position shots and from the perfect center hash.
It's going to be
It's Weeks again.
Weeks is going to be on free position. They gave that initial goal actually to Mejda. It looked like it was Meeks that scored. We'll have to get that checked on the stat sheet.
Great
there is
save.
A nice save there by Pleck, who
And
stepped
Pleck
in.
just wanted to get rid of it.
Got rid of it a little too quickly
Can't
here.
let that ball hit the turf.
As a turnover flips the other way, and now Weeks has it back off the left wing and gives BC a chance to reset. That looks like a chance there. Is playing hot potato. Just get it out and don't force it too quickly.
The offense for Boston College will pressure the goalie once they have it. So, this is another storyline, is a freshman goalie for Louisville facing up against, an accomplished goalie between the pipes for Boston College. Oh, stood her up twice.
The swivel up and under shot there denied, and back-to-back
learned.
big saves
Don't
for
eject
Pleck.
it early.
Well done there from Pleck, who has stepped in as the league goalkeeper this year, replacing Rachel Florick, and so far so good for her, leading Louisville to a
2 big saves,
4-2 record and a strong start here after giving up the opening goal.
And the pressure that Boston College is applying is on on every player, just not the goalie.
That's a bump from behind. That goes against Welch as she knocked down Nakazawa, who will pick it up and start the offense here for Louisville. We've talked a little bit in the past here about Nakazawa and the offense that she brings to Louisville, just such a speedster around the ball.
Yeah, and actually right now just Louisville able to catch a breath, their first true clear with a little help from a foul.
As now it'll be Caroline Blaylock stepping at the top, dancing inside, just picked up the 3,000th goal last week against Virginia
great
Tech.
pass.
In the history of the program, add on some more points to the U of L record books. That's Hannah Morris on the flush, and U of L nods it up at 1-1.
I'll tell you what, but that was an incredible assist by Natoli. Great job to track the pass from up top from Caroline Blaylock and hand it straight off. Wow, that was wonderful. That's a great confidence-boosting goal for. Well done.
The setup as we got the second look, Natalie on the toss, and that sets up Louisville now with a 1-1 score against BC, and it's going to be a tough pace today, Patty. We talked about this is BC, and we've seen here in the opening 4 minutes the Eagles, they want to fly up and down the field. Louisville likes to run, but they know they have to pick their spots against Boston College.
Well, and we've seen in the games that we've called together just how Coach Teeter likes to run lines of players in and out. So that's not anything new. He's going to keep his game plan the same, and just everybody knows they have to measure up to what's in front of them.
Slapped around. Peroni tries to get underneath it. Eventually
when you see
recovered.
3 black shirts around the ball, that's a good sign for Louisville.
And eventually recovered by the Cardinals. Here's Hannah Morris, who just scored, now in possession. Louisville looks to set up. BC certainly trying to speed up the game with their pressure. As we'll see going around the horn here, the Cardinals on the offensive set.
And that pressure is significant in the midfield. One of the things when I was talking with Coach Walker, she said, which kind of blows your mind, is she said, this is the strongest midfield we've ever had. Okay, you just won a national championship.
Yeah, 18-3 record, national title.
We're better.
She's certainly not wrong, though, as we've seen a 5-0 start here for BC on the season as Louisville loses possession here on the turnover. 5-0 start for BC and 5 preseason All-Americans coming in, and thus far all of them have lived up to the billing.
Yeah, and just sprinting clears for them. Ooh.
Nice defensive work from behind. That is
they're gonna get
a
it back.
foul. Peroni got in there in the action. Nice to see the swipe there and slow down possession if you're Louisville. Good defensive work, but a foul on the Cardinals.
Defense assemble. Ooh, all by herself on X back there.
Nice dance here from the Eagles, and now they set back out off to the right.
You know, we talked about how we're going to call Charlotte North's name a lot, and we haven't. Louisville is face guarding her with Sarah Blaylock.
Weeks off the mark. It looked like it was deflected on the way out
You
there.
can
So
see.
possession with BC.
There's North and Blaylock, who you'll see. They can have wonderful conversations all day long.
I was going to say, they will get very up close and personal as she is going to be attached to Charlotte North all game long. Charlotte North, the top scorer in all of the NCAA, 29 goals, 8 assists on the season. Weeks putting it a little bit high there. Going off the mask off Bleck.
Standing strong in there. Don't flinch, baby girl.
Well done, and as we said, a new change in goal this year for the Cardinals. Rachel Florek has been leading the way the last 4 seasons for Louisville. She graduates, and now a new rotation behind goal, and it's paid off well thus far for Jay Pleck, who stepped in just in her freshman season out of Auburn, Georgia, and she has certainly lived up to the expectation. A lot of confidence she plays with early on.
Yeah, a lot, and just what a great job by Sarah Blaylock of just getting out of Dodge. You got to get out of that defensive end. And now she will head right out of the offensive end and let a shooter come on.
And Louisville now takes a breath here to set up. Morris.
They're going to want to eat clock when they can. So if Boston College allows them to pass it around outside the 12, then they're going to do it for a while just to shed some time. Woo!
Woo! A rocket shot from Hannah Morris, and Louisville with a 2-1 lead over BC.
Wow. You know, the scouting report says that their goalie, the Boston College goalie's weakness is low. But I'll tell you what, no problem tucking that in high for Hannah Morris. Holy moly, that had some heat.
Wow, a beauty. Now with the lead, incredible work there by the Cardinals. And if you're a Louisville fan, take a picture of that. A 2-1 lead over number 1 Boston College. That's exactly how you like to start off the afternoon.
Sport, can you pull a fire alarm? I don't know if that's a thing.
You can try.
I'm sure the parents are looking for one right now.
Yes, you can. you can try. What a phenomenal start here for the Cardinals. As you see on the back of the scoreboard there, 3 shots up on goal for Louisville and 2 scores to go with it. Hannah Morris carrying the show as possession here will go to BC off the draw control.
It looked like Mickey started just a shade early before the whistle.
And let's talk about her for a second. When you look at the draw control and how things have really gone in a positive direction this year, Maddie McKee, she is arguably the MVP of the team this year. She has done a tremendous job in draw control and giving Louisville a lot more offensive possession.
Not that she's putting the ball in the back of the net, but she's giving them the possession to allow every scorer to do their work.
Especially a weakness for Louisville last year as that one rifled over the backstop and goes into the wall. BC still handles possession here, trying to tie it back up. Oh, what a move! And there's our name for Charlotte North.
As soon as I saw Charlotte North, there was no hesitation in her from the second she took that ball from out of bounds. She was like, I am going and I am getting free. As soon as her body was still guarded, if her stick head gets free, it's game over. And that's exactly what happened. Her stick head got outside of any defender, and she can, pick a millimeter of space to put it into the net.
That was Charlotte North, who we said, the top scorer in NCAA action, a leader of this team. That's goal number 30 on the season. Put that in perspective for you people. At 7th on the season, you have, for the Cardinals, Morris along with Peroni are tied at 19. So that's a pretty strong lead on that number 1 holding there. As now we're knotted up at 2-2 back here in the first quarter. Boston College and Louisville with ACC lacrosse action. A great start here on a busy Saturday afternoon in the ACC Conference. Getting close to conference tournament play on men's and women's basketball.
There's going to have to be a discussion. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that right there, that was another draw given to BC, and Maddie McKee looked puzzled. I think there's going to have to be a discussion between coaching staffs and referee staff about what's the issue with the draw.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about Scott Teeter. This is his 5th season here for Louisville. Not afraid to make a comment or two to the officiating staff. On the opposite side of things for BC, as we said, the national champions coming into the season, a tremendous coaching staff they've put together, led by Akeisha Walker-Weinstein, national champion head coach, and certainly some great coaches surrounding her. We saw Jennifer Kent, her head assistant coach, named the assistant coach of the year last year. Just phenomenal coaching all throughout this game and in the ACC.
We saw Osborne for Louisville get a little whistle, which allowed Boston College to reset their offense. Ooh, tuck inside, missed the catch.
They're looking for that shot to be fired off,
Great
but never was able to net it.
Ground ball by Blaylock. Great job.
Yeah, you're looking for that shot, never able to net it, and that was very
From
risky
way
through the
downtown.
middle. Trying the deep toss, and eventually it looks like
That'll
it's
be Louisville ball.
It looked like it was going to almost be a cause turnover there, but Louisville gets a break with the foul. That's testing the waters there.
Yeah.
Going for about a 50-yard fling through the midfield.
But there was nobody, if there's a couple angles you could look at, there was nobody to the right side of Maggie Foster, that's who she was gunning for.
Very dicey, but Louisville is able to pay it off. Nakazawa at the top of the key as they work it around the crease here. The Cardinals love that roll through the center. Here they go.
Woo.
The dance from Peroni. The
Close
shot
to the
denied.
head. No whistles, no nothing.
Physicality here picking up in this matchup, and BC flies back the other direction.
Oh.
And there's a takeaway from Blaylock as back and forth we go. Both teams racing at this start in the opening first.
Nobody relenting. So nobody's given up a clear path. Okay, you're there, you've got the ball, have at it, go set up. Nobody is allowing that to happen on either side.
And we've talked about so far Jay Pleck in goals, we mentioned, for the Cardinals and the job that she's done tremendous on the season. But for the other side, you have to appreciate Rachel Hall, her senior season as goalkeeper. What a career she's had there, Patty. I mean, all the way through from before her time when she was at Oregon. People forget, a star at Oregon. Now she's leading the way for the national champion BC team. What a career she's put together.
Yeah, led the nation in saves in Oregon. First of all, mileage alone, one of the few big-time D1 players other than Charlotte North from the state of Texas. So out of the gate from Texas goes to Oregon. Let's see how far we can go left. Then she's like, no, I'm going to go to Boston. Let's see how far we can go right.
Yeah, making a sorry, I can't even say the word, geographical triangle there, going up to Oregon, then right, and then eventually one day she'll potentially go back to Texas. So try to make her way around the world, and certainly paying off with her experiences we talked about here, a national champ at BC, and they've certainly got a strong chance to do it again this year.
I'll tell you what, this has become a fun match to watch right now. Like, it's kind of a chess match. Nobody is relenting. Nobody's sagging their pressure. Woo!
Lifted a little too high there, off the mark. BC
tried to
cannot
tuck it in
connect.
over the goalie's head, but it was just a bit wide.
Not enough space there for Mossman to make the attempt. And now BC once again forcing it back inside.
Starting from
Quick
behind.
pace.
And look how they technically have three behind.
Opens. That's too easy there.
Ooh.
Nice job on the roll and for the flush. BC now retakes the lead at 3-2. Boston College finding the rhythm there offensively after nice pressure brought on from the Cardinals.
Yeah, and that's really something that you won't see other than Boston College is that the goal line extended. They had three people behind there ready to start things up. Everything very assist-driven, and that's what worked for them. And
you look at, as we now see the score at 3-2 here, BC the lead in the first quarter. Patty Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Abels. When you look at this Boston College team, and you talk about the success they've had as we see a timeout down on the field, you have to be so impressed from the offensive standpoint. One thing that really blew me away, Patty, when I was looking at the pregame notes, free position for Boston College, and we've only seen it once here today for them. Compared to opponents, 25 goals versus 4. That doesn't even seem like a realistic stat.
Yeah, well, and that you have to credit that number. It goes back to crediting the midfield, because that's just the number of shots, the number of time you spend on your offensive end compared to your opponents. So that is all of, that just means that Boston College gets possession, Boston College secures the clear, gets into the offensive end, and just keeps ripping until they find if they get fouled while they're taking that shot, they get another shot from the free position. So that's what that is. But yeah, definitely echoing what Coach Walker said about, her midfield being the strongest it's ever been. They can hold time of possession all day long.
Yeah, and you look at the stars of this team for BC, as we mentioned, 5 USA Magazine preseason All-American. Charlotte North leading the way, as we talked about, in the nation in goals. She's on the preseason list. Go along with it. You'll watch out defensively on the side day. Holly Schleicher at number 28, tremendous defensively. They were both first team and on the second team in terms of All-Americans. You saw Jenna Midge she had the opening score in this game. Courtney Taylor and Belle Smith, all of them high-level starters for BC. Right. And the scary part is the bench of depth, if I could speak, is just as strong. I mean, they have it all the way through.
Absolutely. And actually, so you mentioned that's Lacrosse Magazine's preseason All-American. Well, IWLCA also has preseason, and on that one they have 7. So, so it just makes it
short.
Worse. Yeah. So that means that's just, disgruntled coaches, whatever. But no, it really is depth beyond compare, because normally when you see a scouting report, it's, like, here you got to worry about these two-ish on offense, these two-ish on midfield, these two-ish on defense, like focus your energy there. For Boston College, it's just a laundry list of people that you have to, and not only a laundry list of people that you have to pay attention to, but they have, multiple weapons. Like, each player has a tool belt, not just one go-to skill. So it's a challenge.
As we see, BC takes draw control here quickly out. Just a reminder of that last goal. Mallory Hasselbeck, she gets her first chance to step in and score as BC takes the early 3-2 lead here.
Oh, my gosh.
Louisville led at 2-1 and almost gave up the
Woo!
fourth goal there. What a save there by Pleck.
That would have hurt. That would have hurt the confidence of Louisville big time.
But it made a cool highlight reel.
Yeah, sure did.
Man.
Sure did.
It's like they have a different gear than
Ooh.
everybody else. That BC team, the
Look
speed,
at
it's a
BC
different gear.
Pulling back to the 30 before they start the pressure. That's
She's trapping coming on Blaylock here off the right wing.
using the sideline as a defender.
And here's another risky pass, and that's
Oh.
intercepted the other
All
direction.
day
Numbers for BC.
Their stick work is top in the country.
Dish behind, and a poorly missed pass there from Mejdid. A rare mistake from BC as now possession goes back to the Cardinals.
That was the curse of the announcer right there.
That would work out great if, you just got to get with one team and find a
Yeah.
way to curse the other team. You have to work for one school, and, you could make a living off that, but it doesn't work when you're staying neutral at the
Right.
ACC network. Then you end up hurting everybody. As we see Louisville flips it the other direction. Cardinals on the move.
Good job just cradling really close to the head. If you're going to swipe the ball, you got to take the head too.
It gives chance, yeah.
You're
No doubt
baiting
about
a
it.
foul is what you're doing.
As Louisville takes time here to set up possession. Boston College scoring the last two goals after an early 2-1 U of L lead. As we see Nakazawa out at the top, she'll take possession here off the right. As Louisville letting a little clock burn here, a chance to take a breather as BC has just been pedal to the metal this entire game. Here's Morris with the two scores for the Cardinals.
Morris is a physical attacker, so I never worried about her settling into the. Oh boy,
That was a poor mistake there. Kirsten
ball
running
on the
in.
turf. It's a battle. You have to be relentless.
That was two U of L teammates bumping into each other. That was Kirsten falling in on the attack roll there, and possession ended up taken by BC. Poor communication there for the Cards, and now the Eagles head back on the attack. Nice pass
Wow.
out ahead.
I mean,
And
wow,
flips
that
it in for the finish. That's
fast
Roman
break,
on the
fast
dime.
break defined.
That is Roman finishing off the dime for the score here. BC now leading at 4-2. Boston College finding their rhythm here. That full length of the field pass. Hunter Roman closes for the score. The defender find the scoreboard.
Roman, just because, first of all, defense does not get as many woohoos, but right there being able to handle the ball the whole way, handle that, oh my gosh, just ripped it.
And she had a big-time freshman year going back last year. All ACC freshman team appeared in 21 games on that national championship squad, 15 starts, and the 20 ground balls, highly impressive. And you really look at the way she played throughout the season, then had two big turnovers caused in ground balls in the championship game to beat Syracuse. Not bad when you can start day one at BC.
Yeah, that'll
They'll catch the attention of people.
Yeah, that's okay. The names we haven't heard that we expected to be calling all the way would be Natoli. Or not, we call Natoli. Would be
Yes,
Peroni.
Natoli, yes.
Peroni for Louisville. Quiet, I haven't seen a shot yet.
We saw Peroni on the first possession. That's about it.
That's about it.
And a rough fall there in the midfield for BC. Looked like it was a shot to the ribs
I was
off
gonna
that
say,
draw
check
control.
Flak jacket time.
That's a tough handle to the deck. Possession will stay with BC here. 2:01 left in the first.
And
the
now a
Cardinals
man
down
up.
2-4 here at home against Boston College. The Eagles soaring here.
BC
early
full
on.
strength is tough. BC man up is daunting.
Yeah, they'll take the woman up opportunity here for BC. And this is the last thing you want to see if you're Louisville here. Trying to get a nice early start at home. BC is just finding its rhythm in this first quarter.
So let's talk about names we need to hear. We need to hear Peroni more for Louisville. We need to hear Belle Smith more for BC.
A little bit of a mishandle there and a takeaway.
Wow.
A few possessions Boston College has been off here, and Louisville been able to take advantage of it. That was Blaylock on the pickup.
Ooh, look at the pressure on the goalie.
Rifled away. This is up for grabs.
It's on you guys.
And that's going to be BC heading back the other direction.
She's just going to have to face it again one way or another, so she'll learn how to find her patience with the ball and with pressure. And her outlets need to, come be a little bit more apparent.
That was a wing and a prayer right there.
Yep. If anything, it ate a little time, able to start a new shot clock.
The hesitation dances back out. That's North.
You see North, she's dying to rip a sidearm because you could see how low she was cradling it. Oh, great assist.
The drop-off from Mossman and the finish through the middle. BC finding the rhythm here early on now with their largest lead of 3. The passing perfection right there for Boston College takes their largest lead here in the first.
And the challenge for a goalie to track that ball from behind the extension of the goal line to the view and then stop the ball.
And that was Mejdid on the score. That's her second finish of the game for BC as they now extend that lead to 5-2 here in this first period, and gives us a little quick chance for the end of the first to talk about Jen Mejdid. Certainly we've talked about Charlotte North and the phenomenal performances she's had, but she's really had a strong preference in playing Louisville. If you look at Mejdid's stats, her career highs all coming against Louisville. 9 goals and 9 points last year back in the win on March 28th. I'm telling you, she's doing burgundy's her color apparently, but not natural red, as she has been attacking Louisville, and again off to another big season. 18 goals on the year, 5 assists. Just such a great finisher for this BC team. And
2 goals today, and so anywhere else she'd be a star that you're calling her name from the first whistle on, but when you're the national champ and number 1 in the nation, everybody's got to share the spotlight somehow.
Yeah, when you're the second best scorer on BC, that means you're probably the second or third best scorer in the country. There's a good chance of being that. Looks like we're going to see a timeout.
Yeah, Coach Teeter called the timeout.
A timeout on the field for Louisville. Louisville had some success in our call last week against Virginia Tech on some setups on timeouts. We saw last week the finish by Hannah Morris at the end of the first period to give Louisville a lead as we get a chance here to take a breather. 5-2 Boston College score here on Cards TV.
He calls the timeout because there's 46 seconds, just a little over 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wants to make sure the team settles, draws up a good play, hold possession, get the last shot off of the quarter.
And this is a chance, if you're Louisville here, as you talked about, you want to set up and find something offensively, but you also got to talk about, as you go into the second period, certainly they're going to have to find a way to slow down this BC team as they are just roaring up and down the field. Their passing has been beautiful, and Patty, if not for a few mishandles, they could be easily up 7-2, 8-2.
Oh, yeah. And actually, let's credit the freshman goalie for Louisville with a couple, I think she has 3 saves now. Oh, she's credited with 4 saves now, but, a couple of them were direct hits. She might have a little bruising in the morning, but as long as the save's on the stat sheet, who cares?
Yes, Jay Pleck in goal for the Cardinals. We talked about her as a freshman and the big-time impact she's making on Louisville. As we said, Louisville off to a strong start this season after losing their first 2 on the Colorado road trip, losses to Colorado and Denver. Louisville winning 4 straight, a big win last Saturday against Virginia Tech, and then they followed it up with some victories over the last weekend. During the week. Butler with the big W, 22-8 in terms of scoring. And Louisville's just really starting to find the rhythm here.
Yeah.
And when you look at the ACC standings, the schedule's certainly not easy for any opponent. Louisville at the roughest at this point. They've got BC today.
Just a chunk.
Carolina, Duke down the road. It's just a top 10 murderer's row here for the next week and a half for the Cardinals.
If they can keep their confidence high throughout this and make every outing a battle and never get to that running clock in any of those 3 matchups, then I think it's going to be a very fun season the rest of the way.
And if you're Louisville right now, 4-2, 1-0 in conference, I think the mindset is you want to play competitive against BC. You want to play competitive against Duke and Carolina. But as you get to the end of the season, the schedule will ease up a tad. That's where you want to find your wins.
Well, then they need to sneak in and grab a couple unexpected ACC wins. That's where the bullseye is for Louisville.
Here's Blaylock. Will start it out.
Oh.
She's blitzed. Able to recover, but BC all over it.
They're forcing her out of the offensive end just to maintain possession.
Just ahead, BC trying to step back defensively, but finished home. And again, Louisville paying dividends off the timeout, and there's Nicole Peroni. Nicole Peroni.
Nicely done.
On the catch and the finish going right at Hall.
Well, so much for set up a play and eat 40 seconds clock.
Yeah, they barely burned 11 seconds there, as we're going to see go back down to the midfield for draw control. 5-3 BC advantage. Nice response there from Louisville, and I think Scott Teeter has just said, hey, we're drawing this up. We got to find a way to score and score now.
And I guarantee during one of those timeouts, we didn't get to see it because of the vantage point, but I guarantee during one of those timeouts, at least one of the coaches from the Louisville staff spoke with the referees about explain to us what the call is.
Yeah, the draw control has been a little bit difficult today. We've seen a few violations on Louisville that have gone to the advantage of Boston College.
Okay, and now if you see right now, they're messing around with the height of the placement by the referee. So McKee isn't taking the draw for Louisville right now, but she is significantly taller than North, who that was like the first 9 draw controls that happened. And what they were, I'm sure, saying was they were placing the ball too low for McKee and too much of an advantage for North. So you got to put it somewhere. You got to split the difference of the height.
That's Rachel Lifson's actually taking the spot at 5'11" into midfield draw control for Louisville. Missed pass there from BC. It chased down. And right back to Mejdid.
Yeah. And she's going to goal.
Rolling through the center.
More of a pass to the goalie.
Yeah, rough toss there. Is not connected and cleared away as the clock rolls out here through the end of one. It's fast action. 8 goals in this first period. Boston College on top 5-3 over Louisville. Fast-paced action here on Cards TV with the ACC Network Extra. For Patty Norton, I'm Clay Abels. We'll be back with a short moment after a break here. Boston College versus Louisville. ACC Lacrosse on the ACC Network Extra. Back up with you here on the ACC Network Extra Cards TV. ACC Lacrosse this afternoon in the beautiful, sunny Louisville, Kentucky. U of L Lacrosse Stadium, the host site today, as Boston College, the national champions, in town against the Louisville Cardinals. Patty Norton alongside me. I am Clay Abels. An opening first quarter with a lot of action here for BC. 5 scores, but Patty impressed. Louisville hung in there, did a strong job of sticking in and playing great action on the offensive side. Jay Pleck, especially in goal for Louisville, made some big-time stops. Fiery first opening quarter. We'll see if the pace can handle throughout the rest of this match.
You know, I think if you're the Louisville Cardinal coaching staff, you got to be happy with a 5-3 after one quarter. Really happy. And not just looking at the score, but looking at the play on the field. It feels like a battle. It doesn't feel one-sided at all. And right away, we have to see Lifson was out there for Louisville, about to take the draw, taking that moment out early on the field to talk to the referee about, is there a problem with the way I'm placing my stick? Is there a problem? Tell me what I'm doing wrong and I'll fix it.
as we see opening possession here.
Baroni's got a beat on it. Oh, flips it. We're raking. They've got to scoop it. That's what Boston College does.
And collected the other way. Here's BC on the move. Knocked from behind, and then we'll see Mossman set it up. Nice passing in that opening frame from Mossman. 3 assists for her. She was just dealing from that back side. She did a tremendous job playing outside the circle, just kind of hanging right where she is there off to the right.
Yep.
Played off the crease and just made beautiful passes.
You just have players that develop a great vision from a certain corner, and she sees everything open for her really well.
Weeks dances over. Probably the longest possession we've seen BC have all day. They've moved so quickly, and ooh, that was high stick there. Takes a shot. Rolling through there is Smith, and should set up free position here for Boston College, who has been phenomenal, as we mentioned. 25 goals versus 4 in the free position this year against their opponents. This is where they thrive.
And a really clean first quarter. You know, this is only the second free position of the game.
Smith.
Everybody else set up on the far left.
Decides to go for the pass. Off the mark there. Still kept in from BC. Surprised didn't go for the one-on-one versus play.
Right. Very unselfish. What's I mean, when you have a list full of superstars, you know, they're all, you know, top 5 recruiting class last 5 years. Everybody's a stud, right, coming in. So it's easy to be unselfish because you're not risking a drop in. Oh, great shot.
Another beauty there. Swung home for the score. Well done dancing through the center and finished home. BC now
It was Kayla Martello.
back with the 6-3 lead. And for Martello, that was her second shot lifted on the game. Her first one a bit high in the first quarter over top of Pleck. As you get
There's got to be a slide over for Louisville.
as we head back down from midfield for draw
Line
control.
change.
We mentioned the line change here. That's goal number 10 for Kayla Martello, the assist there to Belle Smith, who we mentioned at the start of this broadcast, kind of being the glue player and tremendous assist maker.
Definitely
for
tabbed by
BC.
people outside the program as the heir apparent to Charlotte North. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of people on the roster vying for that spot.
Yes, between Mejdid and you look down the list, Weeks and all of them through, Belle Smith, as we talked about just a second ago, there's a lot of people gunning for that top spot. And the part that nobody really talks about here is BC now with a 6-3 lead in the second is who's the next recruit that's going to come in and take that
Right.
spot, because it's not like they're bringing in backups. They're bringing in potential All-Americans every year at Boston College.
Draw control given to BC, but the whistle had blown, and so they're bringing the ball back to where the foul occurred.
Now BC takes a chance to set. This will be interesting to see how BC handles things here in the second quarter. They've loved to push at the pace. You'd assume they'd want to continue to push it on Louisville. But as you see here, nothing wrong with taking a few seconds off the clock, even though it's still obviously very early. But BC in no rush to take a poor shot.
No, there's no need to take a poor shot. You have no pressure on you as far as the scoreboard. So work it till you get the perfect opportunity.
Chase down in the corner as BC will recover. So far in the match, just look back at our stats. 14 shots put up already for BC. Make that 15th on that attempt. Only 6 for the Cardinals, 11 of them on goal.
Nice feed to the center.
And that'll be number 16, and that will be a closer for a score. And Smith, after giving up the assist on the last play, she finds a score here. 7-3 BC, clicking on all cylinders here to open up quarter 2.
That center lane in the Louisville's defense just appears wide open. It just feels gaping when you're a strong attacker. So they're all biding their time, waiting for their chance to run through it, and then tuck the goal in.
And you see after the possession there, the huddles between both teams. And I got to think Maddie McGee, who's known as being a strong draw control and defensive lead, that had to be part of the conversation, saying, hey, we can't leave the middle completely open. Somebody's got to be here to check this. They have to do a better job on rotations.
Well, Lifson's been in doing the draw so far this quarter, so we'll see if what changes there, because I think the draws felt pretty even in the first quarter. Trying to see if maybe just Lifson can get an edge somewhere.
so far in the game. It's 7-4 draw controls in favor of Boston College. And as you said, first quarter, a much tighter battle in terms of the draw control as we look at 5-4 in that opening frame. All three in this period to BC.
Right now, it feels like Boston College is working on something because Charlotte North was able to handle that draw control. And then instead of heading toward goal, she turned back, passed it to their goalie, who really is like a quarterback for them. She will often set up their clear by coming out to the 30, and she did it right there.
From the backside we go.
But they didn't have a natural. She hasn't had the ability to do that in a normal, part of the defense. So, good chance to work it right there.
Mej did on the pass, nice flick, and it's going to be a foul by Louisville. Sets up another free position here, and this is a big chance for BC. Push that lead out to 5 and really apply the pressure here on Louisville early in the second.
She's taking it.
Walsh inside. Looked like she was tripped up. Great stop from Louisville. McKee battling in there. I'm sorry, that's Richburg.
Gives it back to the goalie.
That's Richburg in on the stop. Paige Richburg, who had a big game last week for Louisville. 2 big goals in that second quarter and had what was the play of the day. Not sure if it made it to the top 10.
Stickhead just – that was a great job by Boston College to just make you pay. If you are not paying attention to every aspect of your skill, they're going to make you pay.
Again, BC back the other way. Here's Walsh, and now they'll take his chance off the foul to reset. But last week, I was going back to a second ago, Paige Richburg, that incredible snag she had off the roll. Don't know if it made top 10, but certainly got the nominee status on that finish.
That was a fun shot.
A big score in the victory over Virginia Tech.
Every goal today so far has been pretty straightforward. No razzle-dazzle, but the scoreboard doesn't care if it's fancy.
Well, especially when you're looking at BC here, when you can pass like that, you don't have to have the razzle-dazzle.
Right.
Everything's so effective to set up the attacker. Louisville, nice job covering through the center as it goes back almost into the midfield, and Boston College
that
keeps
restraining
possession.
line restrains.
Yeah, Hannah Morris definitely trying to jump across.
Yep. Oh. Officials didn't like something that happened right there.
Yeah, it was tough to see on the violation there what it was, but it's going to go back the way of Louisville, and they'll get a chance here to set up.
This will be a good test of the clear for Louisville.
And they have struggled with that here throughout.
Oh, they're going to go just turn on the jets. That's it. Not worry about a 4-across passing situation.
Blaylock. Stick check, and she moves forward. Foul there on BC. Nice passing for Louisville to set it up.
She was outside the 8, so no shot, but an opportunity to restart clean.
Richburg off to her left. Nakazawa to the right. Caroline Blaylock in the center. Now Louisville will slow it up here and hold possession. Patty, at one point, I know it's early here, just a 4-goal lead. At Louisville, you have to be careful because BC's going to keep scoring. You like to slow the game down a little bit, but you can't just make it a standstill.
Because you have to put points on the board.
Yeah, it's not going to work long term. You'd like to certainly have more of those setup plays like you had at the end of the first period where Peroni was able to score, but there's just not many opportunities for that.
And if you can't connect inside.
Passing off the mark there, Richburg tried to pick it up, but a foul on the collision, and that possession heads back the way of Boston College here. Now under 10 to go in the second, 7-3 BC lead. They've been a roll here in the second period. One score for the Cards.
Osborne scoops and rolls. Oh!
And Osborne, as you said, the bowling ball attack.
Yeah.
Tried to take out the pin.
They're going to give it back to her. They're not going to let her start inside the restraining line.
That's one of those situations, almost like a blocking foul in basketball. They're coming into you, and they're going into them, and it's just who can stand up taller to take the hit.
Good chance for Louisville to set up here. Boston College has pulled their defense in. If you remember in the first quarter, they were way outside the 12, and now they're kind of not starting until the 8.
2 goals for Hannah Morris. She leads the way.
Pass intercepted.
Morris leads the way with 2 goals on 2 shots. Peroni the other score.
Hall with a laser to her midfielder.
It's such an advantage when you have a goalkeeper that can deal like that.
Yeah.
And Pleck will learn, still at the beginning
Yeah.
stages. Nice strip away from
Oh.
Louisville.
I don't think there's a whistle.
And that's Peroni, who's made a couple nice defensive plays early on, known for her
Okay.
scoring.
Louisville's got numbers. They're
Here's
going to want to go
Morris.
to goal.
Dumps it off. Pass up. Oh!
Great sliding stop.
Takes it off the railing there, and a tough break for Louisville. Now BC flying the other direction.
I mean, the camera can't keep up with it. She's so fast.
And BC finds a way to finish at home. And once again, already a hat trick for Jen Mejdid. 3 goals here in the opening half on 4 shots. And BC turns what looked to be a chance for Louisville to bring it back within 3 to now their largest lead of the match here at 8-3, 8:05 left in the second quarter. A defleeting possession there from Louisville. And you see why Boston College is the finest team in all the land.
Absolutely. What is a strong offensive possession for Louisville? 5 seconds later is a goal for Boston College. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around.
And a rare situation here. You see Mejdid picked up the score. That's her 21st goal of the season. But Charlotte North picking up the rare assist, it feels like, being that now she has
only got
30
a few,
goals.
like
That's her
4 or
5th
so.
of the season.
There we go. Yeah, 5th.
You know, it's tough because usually your best player gets double teamed and it opens up the opportunities for your second and third leading scorers. Hannah Morris certainly doing that for Nicole Naparoni, and back and forth they really open up opportunities. But Charlotte North's so good, even on a double team, she's got the advantage.
Yeah, that's
No reason to pass
Yeah,
when you can score like that.
well, and the opportunity to engage your team and give the more you empower your teammates around you, the more opportunities you have for yourself down the line. So,
As we take a quick break here, midway through the second quarter, on our way to halftime, the score 8-3 Boston College on top against the Louisville Cardinals on the ACC Network Extra. A fun afternoon here in Louisville. Great action between these two teams. And you talk about Boston College, and we've lauded their success this season, but what's concerning, Patty, is they maybe have an even better team this year. And you look at the start, looks like they're going to be on their way here to a 6-0 record if they can continue pace here today. They just seem to have no weaknesses in their match. I know you've been around this
it's
game
really
a long
hard to
time.
find.
It's hard to find a team that compares to this one.
Yeah, and actually, there's when you're looking through each of I was talking about how deep each area of their game is, and you look at maybe the goalie, she's weak low, but I mean, the amount of experience she has and the successes that she's got on her tool belt already. It's just really hard to find a place. That way, you as you're an opponent, you get excited when you see them throw the ball away, which has happened a few times today, because that doesn't happen very often. It's going to be very interesting to see, and they don't shy away from competition. Their first game of the year was against Northwestern, and they handled it with ease. I mean, they doubled them. It was like 18-9.
It was a rout.
Right. So that just makes the rest of the country go, oh man. What are we going to do?
And we see improvements, as we talked about here. Louisville certainly making great strides this season as they've moved up. Already a 4-game win streak here, 4-2 record, a victory in conference at 1-0 against Virginia Tech last week. Things are looking on the up, but it's tough in a game like this. You want to keep your confidence up, but when their team is just scoring on you at will, it's hard, if you're Scott Tier, the coach, to really preach enthusiasm on the sidelines.
Yeah, and you don't want to say the words scoring at will ever, because that just means something has broken down. And I think right now we'd have to tag it to not being able to corral the ground ball. That's just a thorn in the side right now. And they've got to climb back up on that draw control balance there. Boston College is starting to dominate there.
So we go back to draw control here. BC really owning the draw control throughout this second quarter.
In traffic. Oh, it just flipped into the stick of Hannah Morris.
And Louisville takes possession.
I'm sorry, of Caroline Blaylock.
Louisville takes possession. It was 5-4 BC advantage in the first, but right now after that it's 4-1 here in the second. So BC owning the draw control 9-5 here on this matchup, as now Louisville needs to get something going offensively.
Interesting to see who they'll spotlight.
Peroni on the dance, skips it inside. Richburg, nice sidewinder.
That was the same shot that got her all the accolades last week. The diving to her right, tucking it in, but
tougher goalkeeper this
Yeah.
week, and defense.
and if you're, if you're shooting from low, you got to go high. If you're shooting from high, you got to go low. You can't shoot low. It's too easy to track for an accomplished goalie.
And now BC will set here. They set things up on the offensive end is a little bit of stoppage.
It's like they're trying to figure out an offside situation, but I think it was cleared.
Around the backside.
What a wrap right there, but it shot just a little bit wide.
Now they're working from the top of the key. Here's Smith.
You can normally tell who's getting spotlighted by who's going to be the person starting from. Remember we said they've exposed that center alley for Louisville a couple of times, and they're putting Belle Smith right up at the top of that alley a couple times in a row now.
Push from behind, shot up and off, and BC still handles possession.
Charlotte North if she's not shooting, she's at the end line behind the goal.
Martello, score earlier.
Oh, there's the center shot.
The pass in the middle. Once again, open opportunities for Boston College, and they continue to take advantage. There's Smith on the flush, and Boston College rolling right now midway through the second. Timeout set up here. It seems like every time Louisville finds something going defensively, the middle always finds a way to be open for BC.
Yeah,
what can the Cardinals do?
I guess they could. It's really, really risky against a super talented team to try and play man. But if your zone is getting spread out so far, something's got to be open, right? So I'm not really sure what Coach Teeter's going to do here. Maybe switch up assignments. It's the only. It looked like the only face guard situation was Sarah Blaylock on Charlotte North, and was keeping her quiet. She doesn't have 6 goals so far, and she's averaging 6 a game, so is keeping her quiet. But at what point do you sacrifice the rest of the productivity of everybody else that's on offense?
As you see right now in this second period, it's 4 goals by Boston College to none against Louisville. As you recap the first, a great first quarter of action, 5-3 advantage for Boston College. Louisville really did a nice, strong job early on combating that Boston College offense. Had a 2-1 lead off a goal from Hannah Morris, but after that, BC scored 3 in a row, and from there they have not looked back. 1 score at the end of that first period by Nicole Peroni off the timeout, but outside of that, it's been tough for Louisville offensively because they haven't had much time to get on offense with being backtracked on defense every possession for the Eagles.
And with every goal means a new draw control, right? So you should have a 50-50 shot at getting possession, and I would be surprised if we don't see McKee back in the center of the circle.
Yeah, rough time to start off the game, but McKee, having been replaced by Lifson in the draw control, that didn't change things, so might go back to the starting ways, but it looks like Lifson's going to take the step back into the center here as we come out of the timeout. 9-3 Boston College advantage. The Eagles on the road here today with some ACC action. Lifson at 5'11", certainly has the length. I know we mentioned at the beginning of that first period, Scott Teeter not happy with the height difference between Charlotte North and McKee and trying to even out that spot. It's one of those things you just don't think about much.
Well, no, the
angle, yes.
You want a tall draw control person because that means normally the shorter person has to come up a little bit higher than they're comfortable, meaning a little less strength.
As we'll see violation out of it. This time it's going to go to Louisville.
I've never seen Charlotte North show frustration.
She usually has nothing to be frustrated about.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Is that a little temper?
I was going to say she usually doesn't have anything to be frustrated about. And with the 9-3 advantage,
Mostly
still
roses.
things look to be going okay for the Eagles.
Let's see if Nakazawa can make a little noise today. She's been awfully quiet.
Nakazawa had a great opening shot in this game, was off the mark, but since then, as you said, awfully silent in her performance, and she's usually one of those players, kind of like last game against Virginia Tech. She just hangs around and sneaks in and makes a play. She's so quick in space.
Yeah, and you've got to be. They're just so tactically sound on defense, Boston College, is that you either have to be super physical and not be afraid to bump people, or you have to be crazy stick skilled and wiggle your way in, which is the way Nakazawa's got to go.
Yeah, it's not going to win.
Not the physical one.
It's not going to work when you're 5'3". You can't overpower the size of BC at 5'3". That's not going to work, especially inside the creases. As We look here. Boston College once again setting up. Pass off the mark earlier from Louisville on that last possession, and the Eagles right through the middle again. This time can't collect on the pass.
Ball's on the ground. That means it's Boston College.
And BC there to pick up possession. North pushed in the back on the baseline, eventually gives it away and lets
Sarah
the Eagles
Blaylock
set up.
staying on her, not relenting her post.
Once again, on the roll, here's Mossman leading the team in assists on the day at 3.
It's almost like making it a 6-on-6 game then, if you just take away North and Sarah Blaylock, which
it's a good idea on paper.
You consider that, you consider that a win for Louisville, but if you're Boston College, you'd take any of your other six against anybody else's other 6.
Another beautiful dime, this time from Smith, dropping it off for the score. Martello is starting to rack up the finishes herself. That's her second goal on the day, and Boston College once again continuing to extend this lead, 10-3 with 4:15 to go. And what a job she has done on the season. From Sacred Heart Academy, but not the one from Louisville, the one from Rockville Center, New York, and you see her in midfield. Not bad, to say the least. Didn't really get any time as a freshman, though. You look, 6 goals on the season. Did get to, though, play in the NCAA tournament, and that's where she found her time. 3 straight games of scoring against Fairfield, Temple, and Notre Dame, and since the end of that season.
That'll get you a spot.
Yeah, since the end of that postseason, I think she definitely popped up on the radar here to be a starter for BC.
Yeah, Louisville needs to get a draw control. And pump a little energy into what's happening.
Missed by Blaylock, but nicely snagged.
Well done by Peroni.
Peroni.
Whoa, stick to the face.
Trying to shift her way through the defense, and it's going to be a foul up high. That's why you wear the glasses.
Louisville restarted awfully quick, but the referees were trying to send the defender behind Peroni, who had the ball, but Peroni just restarted quickly.
Richburg trying to work low, eventually forced out.
Boston College giving them room to pass around outside the 12.
Blaylock inside, goes low and gets the awkward bounce.
Tags the inside pipe to redirect into the back of the goal.
Caroline Blaylock using the hometown bounce.
I was going to say that's the home field cage right there. Right between the stick head and her knee, so that's the little triangle of space. That's all she needed.
And that is the first goal for the Cardinals here in the second period, back to a 10-4 game, 3:32 to go here in the second quarter. BC up by 7, and a response there from Caroline Blaylock, and exactly what Louisville needs. They need any
Blaylock
type of
with
momentum
the goal,
at the moment.
But that wouldn't happen without Peroni getting that control of the draw with the ground ball pickup.
And took the tough foul.
Yeah.
To help set up the offense. As we'll see once again on the draw control here. BC, the last 3:30 of this half, highly important for both sides, but especially Louisville. They need to find a way to keep this within 5 or 6. You start stretching it out to that 7 or 8 point mark, you start to see the enthusiasm deflate from the Louisville side.
Yeah, got to keep the pressure and keep the hope alive.
BC working their way up the right wing.
Just turning on the Jets.
Off to the left. There's Weeks out at the top of the key. Open space again, and
yeah.
Martello make it a third time. 2 hat tricks on the day for BC. One for Mejdid and the other for Martello. And the Eagles leaving right off where they go every possession. Offensive strength is the power.
It's a
for the
situation
Eagles.
where every player on Boston College's offensive end is able to score. So every single one of them is taking their shots streaking through the middle. And Louisville's just got to do a better job of going where they're going instead of going where they've been as a defender. Got to get stickhead to stickhead. Got to intercept some passes, maybe. Anything to just slow the pace of scoring.
The tough part is you'd like to see Louisville put up some higher pressure, but the way they're passing today, you cannot send a double team on a trap because they're going to score immediately.
Yeah.
That's just not an option. Some teams you can do that against, force the pressure, but BC lives to be trapped.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
it's
it's like a
happening-
quarterback who's looking for the blitz.
It's happening so fast. It's not like the defender can dictate which direction they are forcing the attacker. It's just happening so fast.
Draw control up for grabs. Richburg trying to get underneath it.
Oh!
Snags it. And
Snag
eventually
and
a
a
foul.
tackle.
And Louisville doing a nice job here in the last
Yeah.
two possessions, starting to get draw control back in
behind
the
ya.
direction. And
Pressure
BC
from everywhere.
Yeah, that's what we call a quadruple team. 4 defenders surrounding Kirsten. Louisville maintains possession.
Take a breath.
You better take a break because as soon as BC gets possession back, they're not going to
Yeah.
let you take
Yeah.
one. Kirsten
They
hauling it
clear
up to the
out-
right.
They clear the entire right side.
Nice spin. Well passed.
Just
Trying
not,
to-
not in a spot to tuck a shot in.
Morris the
Oh, great
spinner
inside
and the
spin.
score.
Reverse spin for Hannah Morris. Well done.
Goal number 3, the hat trick to Hannah Morris. And that's our third hat trick already in this game, the first for the Cardinals. Well done from Hannah Morris, who is carrying the load today for Louisville.
That is a great goalie she's up against, and she made her. One of the scout reports on that goalie is fake first because she'll bite. So definitely, looked like she thought she was going high, and Hannah finished low.
2:13 to go here in this half. Louisville trying to strike back in this game. It was a tight competition in the opening 15 minutes. It was a 5-3 score. Louisville right there with BC, but in the second quarter, it's been all Boston College here up until the last 2 minutes where Louisville's found a couple scores.
And you could just see right there. So see that draw control was not. They were just kind of scooting it to where there's more white shirts than black shirts, and the black shirts kind of relented. They kind of allowed that to happen, thinking, oh, we can't get that one. But that's the change in what you've got to feel on the field is relent or don't relent.
Smith there skidding to the deck as now we'll see free position coming up for Boston College.
I think we'll see her skills right here.
I don't think
Last year's freshman of the year for the country.
I was going to say, I don't think we'll see her pass this one, and
Yeah.
she does not. Just passing it into the back of the net
Yeah.
is the angle she decides to go with. Striking it home, and BC again every time on offense in this second quarter. They're finding.
Knew that was coming.
If you're a goalkeeper, there's not a whole lot you can
Yeah.
do.
Knew that was coming.
You just hope for the best and that you could stay in there and make it a competition, but it's such a tough task. I mean, Boston College, you legitimately look at this team today, and what is scary about this team, the fourth leading scorer on the afternoon is Charlotte North. She's number 1 in the country
Yeah.
in goals. That's just, you have 3 players now with hat tricks, Martello, Smith, Mejdid, North with the other score, along with Roman, who picked up a goal off the bench. But Mossman, Weeks, all the way through, they all have the potential to put points on the board.
Credit on the Louisville side, Sarah Blaylock, for keeping North quiet, but credit Boston College for unselfish play because that's what's happening out there.
And a foul will go to BC, and this is the situation here at the end of this first half we talked about. If you're Louisville, you want to find a way to keep it within 5, ideally 6 at the worst. You don't want to be down by 7 or more because then Boston College, they start to smell the chance at putting this one away early, putting that early nail in the coffin. And we all know about getting to that 10-goal advantage and the mercy rule that comes in play with the running clock, and that's the last thing you need right now if you're Louisville. BC try to work it inside.
Good defense.
Well shut off there from the Cardinals as the Eagles reset. Now under a minute to go in the first half.
Cutting. Charlotte North went cutting. Everybody's taking their shot, cutting through that alley.
Mejdid kicks it back up high. The pass into the top shelf work. That is ridiculous.
It is so. You wonder why more teams don't have all of their assists coming from behind the cage.
assists in the first half.
Yeah. We talked about, what adjustments could be made. Maybe, Teeter just says go be incredibly aggressive, and if you see that, that pass coming in, try and intercept. Tell every defender you've got the green light to try and make something happen.
And now it's 13-5. The assist on that play, can't certainly take this name off the announcing board. Caitlin Mossman, that makes her 4th assist of the game. It's an incredible first half she's had as well. And everybody in on the action right now for BC as the lead extended to 13-5 here. 44 seconds to go for the half. Draw control controlled by BC initially. Peroni with the swipe there. She's got to be careful. And I think she's going to have to take a seat.
Go think about what you've done.
And not what you want to see if you're Louisville. 37 seconds to go. Woman up opportunity here at the end of the second quarter. And BC, if they find a way to score, they can make this a 9-goal advantage going into half. 1 away from being at the mercy roll. This early on in the matchup is not where you want to be if you're the Cardinals.
Checking on Holly Schleicher. They pulled her right off the field. I don't know if it the swipe maybe. Sometimes the goggles can clip you. Get you a little gash on the forehead.
Yeah, she swiped right across the front of her face there. So last place, you want to have the stick right up in your grill. BC will hold for last possession. 20 seconds to play with. And they're going to try to find that center to go through the zone. Mossman back inside. Mejdid with the closer. Now 2 scores with 4 goals apiece. Mejdid on the close, and a 14-5 advantage with 9 seconds to go in the opening half.
Every single time it's a pass from behind, shoot from the center. Louisville's got to get sticks in the way of those passes. Stick head to stick head on the person doing the passing, or intercept the pass.
And we'll go back here for draw control. 9 seconds left in the half. We're going to keep Lifson out there. We'll see if that changes in our second half of action. Goal number 22 of the season for Mejdid, and a rare assist game for Charlotte North, her second of the day, only 6 on the season in their 5 previous contests on the year. She only had 4 coming in this game in 5 games, already 2 here in the first half.
Louisville needs a draw control.
Badly.
It was pretty tight it was only a
5-3.
Yeah, it's a close differential.
5-3 in the first quarter. And as the clock winds down here, foul on Louisville as we hit the half. It was a 5-3 score from BC at the end of 1, but a 9-2 second quarter advantage for Boston College as they are flourishing here in opening ACC action. On the road, 14-5 advantage going into the half. Boston College over Louisville. Pat Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Abels, live here on the ACC Network Extra and Cards TV. We'll be back with some more halftime coverage in a few minutes and some news and notes to go along with it. Boston College with the halftime score advantage, 14-5 over Louisville. We'll be back with more action here on the ACC Network Extra. Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we start the second half here on Cards TV. Louisville hosting Boston College today. Patty Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Abels. The score 14-5 as we get ready to start the second half. Patty, a fun first half of action, a 5-3 first quarter. It looked like it was going to be a great competitive matchup. Louisville actually had a 2-1 lead in that first quarter. However, when the second quarter started, Boston College just turned the Jets on and looked like the team that is the defending national champions. As we get ready to start the third quarter here, tell us a little bit about, from the U of L side with Scott Teeter, what is he looking for? What adjustments do you think he made during that halftime period?
I think he probably told them all, okay, these are the things that we did well. This is how we got 5 on the board. These are the things we did well. This is how we had a bunch of saves. And then challenge them to, basically you have to view everything as a challenge, right? Or as an opportunity. So basically saying, listen, find ways. Find a way to make it work. Find a way to make our game plan work, because this is what's got to get us through, the rest of the ACC slate, which is not the same as this ball game, but pretty darn close. And, you said it was a fun first half. If you're Boston College, it was a fun first half. If you're Louisville, it was a fun first quarter. It was really, really a fun a quarter so far was just outstanding. And definitely exactly as their game plan was drawn up, everything that they wanted to do, they did. Just got to see how they can keep the energy going.
Louisville takes first possession here in the second half, and that's really where the game changed in the second period. We saw at the end of the first quarter, it was 5-4 advantage in terms of Boston College and draw controls, but the second quarter, it was just all BC on the draw control, especially early, winning the first 4 of the quarter, and eventually coming away with the 9-3 advantage to go through the rest of the quarter, as we saw, 9-5 advantage throughout the rest of the quarter, as we see Louisville still trying to struggle here to move it inside. Great
they're
Boston
down to
College
10
D.
on the shot clock.
Blaylock tries to dance inside through the double. Missed pass, and it looks like it's going to be a violation here on Louisville as the clock rolls out. BC did pick up possession there, and Belle Smith was the star of the show in the first half. 4 goals and 2 assists. She's there on the pass for you.
But it's that strike down the middle that has given Boston College that fast break vibe the whole first half, and it just did it right there.
Nice spin for BC to set it up. Trying to work again out that backside. Charlotte North, the leading scorer for the team at 30 goals on the season. Only 1 score today, but 3 assists. They've taken away a lot of the lanes for her, Patty, but it's opened the doors for Bella Smith.
Well, she's face guarded by Sarah Blaylock, so she's taken out of everything. It's not that, she's got a bug on her the whole time. It's everybody else who's found a way to create lanes for each other. Like that right there.
Smith.
That's a great close.
Clock under 40.
See, that's a win. You now see Louisville swiping at passes.
Hasselbeck trying to get it out to Martello. She had 3 goals in that first half and really caught rhythm in that second quarter.
Shot clock to 20. Pass inside.
And it's going to be a foul. And not the person you want to put in free position either, Bella Smith.
You see her try to scoot it to a more centered hash, but they put her back outside.
Yeah, here off the left.
She still has the skills to tuck it in.
She also has Weeks off to her right. She goes for the shots, and well stopped by Jay Pleck. BC still in possession. The clock goes back to 60. Up high, off the mark, a rare miss.
But sticking with what works for Boston College is the assist from behind the goal to a, striking attacker down the middle.
Martello, inside pass behind.
Oh, what a great flip pass.
Unbelievable.
Right that is where all the traffic is, and they are just able to lace it from stick to stick. That's impressive.
15-5, the score now. BC able to take. Is now 15-5. The 10-goal advantage. You are at the mercy rule, so from now on, no matter what, you have a running clock. So this is where things certainly are not in favor of Louisville here in the second half. You're already down 10, and the clock is now completely against you in favor.
Lifson in the center circle again for the draw control for Louisville, I wonder if he's saving McKee for, like, if they, it looks so far like they've divvied it up by quarters. McKee handling the task for the first quarter, Lifson the second. So we'll see if it's maybe Lifson third and McKee fourth.
They're going to put Charlotte North back out there for the BC side.
That's been consistent. That has not changed the whole game.
You blame him?
No.
I don't blame Coach Walker Weinstein at all for making that.
And this is a kid that, yeah, she's won every award there is. She's, last season's top player in the game, but she just wants to touch the ball all the time. That's the kid you put in the center circle.
And coming into this matchup, we talked a lot about North and all the success that 5 different preseason All-Americans have in the USA polls, 7 in the coaches poll, all the way through. You look, they just have so much talent, and it shows in so many different areas. Another stat that really illustrates and shows today, before coming into this game, outscoring opponents 99 goals to 44. Today, if my math holds serve, you're looking at 114 now to 49. I mean, those are monstrous numbers against great competition. As you said, open up with as you said, you open with Northwestern. Louisville's a borderline top 25 team. I mean, these are good opponents.
Right. Well, and they want to make sure that they're not just good, they're number 1 in the nation and they're number 1 in the ACC, which normally means the same thing.
Well, and you look at the psyche as you talk about teams trying to win.
Louisville getting their first free possession.
There's be a chance here for Kirsten on the free position. And this is big for Louisville. They can change it back from out of a opportunity on mercy rule to get it back into single possession. Kirsten, that long stride, steps inside, shot up and in.
And a great, there's so many ways you can attack that. You can, just rip it from way outside, or you can go in.
Such speed she wasn't going to be able to slow down.
I know.
She just bolted out of the gate. And
barrel over the goalie. That's one way to go.
I was going to say, it's one of those situations similar into soccer. You start up so quickly, you don't have enough time to stop your momentum. But Bella Kirsten able to get the score in. That's her 5th of the season. You love her athleticism and the dynamics of her game.
And a player that the opponent is not normally focusing on, so it's a great advantage for Louisville to pull another emphasis person into the mix.
So now it takes out of the mercy rule here, back at 15-6. So clock returns to normal. About 2 minutes extra burned off there in that spanned.
Oh, well done.
And Louisville
builds
on the draw control.
That is a huge change from the second quarter, that a Louisville player corrals the ground ball, and then instead of just putting their head down and anticipating the pressure, they immediately look to see who was open. That was well done.
To the backside we go again, trying to work behind the net. Louisville just putting a score on the board from Bella Kirsten. She has possession again, gives it off.
Yeah, let's see if the narrative can completely change for the rest of this third quarter and have Louisville on the aggressive.
Foul off to the side there. I believe that's going to go against BC, just away from free position. Kirsten, as we said, just scoring around that play. This is going to be pushed all the way back to the baseline. Oh, excuse me, no, it's free position. I'm looking away from Kirsten. I thought they took possession away from her there, but she has it and actually will get free position.
Yeah, I thought they had given it to Peroni as well. Oh, that's not even Peroni.
Kirsten off the mark on the shot and controlled by BC out of the exchange. And we'll see the speed pick back up here for Boston College. They're not going to take any breaks as Hall gets the handoff, and she flicks it ahead. I mean, the passing is so precise.
Yeah.
From a goalkeeper to do that, I mean, that's incredibly rare.
Surgical.
And foul from behind. Yeah, not many goalkeepers in the country can dish it around with that ease. I mean,
that's all confidence.
And some good skill to go with it, too.
Confidence and experience. Having seen every situation possible.
Foul in Louisville, and again, physicality picking up a little bit here in the third.
The wind picking up as well, if you look at the jerseys. Jerseys and ponytails.
Certainly not.
Tell you the whole story.
Certainly not a favor for the offense. Trying to keep on track there on your shots, keep them online, and one picks up enough. Makes it a little bit more difficult, certainly more defensive friendly. Here's BC. Once again, they always start behind the net. It's where they find the roll through the middle again. Open space, inside, dipped out to the right, and another foul on the Cardinals.
Shooting space it had to be. Louisville's doing a good job of collapsing on the players as they're coming through the top. But somebody must have been hanging out in the middle unmarked.
Free position. Whoa, whipped into the back of the net.
Sidearm.
The lefty sidearm.
Slap shot.
My goodness. You talk about a shot to open up off the free position there. Once
she had
again,
the wind with her. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think the wind did much. I think that was more of her. My goodness. A rifled ball through the back of the net, and BC once again heads back to the 10-score advantage. Looks like Louisville will take a timeout here. And that's Kit Arerix. That's the first time we've mentioned her name. Coming in off the bench today for BC. She's another highly touted freshman on the side for Boston College. She's got a lot of potential, and you look at BC to pick up that score, keep adding to the numbers, and that's her sophomore season. Feels like her freshman season. Only got 7 appearances back in that opening campaign, but showing some opportunities here. And as you talk about every once in a while, whether it's a North Carolina, Boston College, or a Duke, all top 10 this year, when you get into a game like this, Patty, where it's a blowout, for these backups, this is their start. This is their chance to get a chance to work their way into the lineup.
The word backup is so misleading.
Exactly.
Because, so 24 Kit Arerix that you just talked about, she's only played in 3 games this season, but her skills are so strong that it made her to the scouting report. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was talking about early in the game, how normally you just focus on a few or a couple in each zone of the game, but Boston College is just so deep that you have to mention what you're going to see out there. There's so many kids with extreme skills that you gotta warn your team what's coming at you.
Now as the timeout comes out here, as soon as this draw control is dropped, time will pick back up on the mercy roll here, back to a 10-score advantage for BC.
When the whistle goes for the draw.
And this was, as we said, a very tightly contested game. 5-3 at the end of the first quarter. Hannah Morris had 2 scores at the top to put Louisville at a 2-1 advantage, but since that point, BC has just turned on full throttle.
They have additional gears that other teams are trying to figure out.
As we try to get set for the draw control, North still in there for BC. Punched out. Lifson does a nice job there, but the Eagles will take possession. Morris trying to provide the double team from behind. Just great speed from Boston College, able to push it forward. That was Taylor there on the move.
That's a tough call because I didn't see her arms extended as a defender.
Again, to the backstop we roll. Out front, Martello.
Yeah, Boston College just...
No need to rush.
Taking
Certainly
the time.
lead. Nice defensive work here from Louisville. Incredible save there from Boston College. Eric's showing off her talent there in the length to keep that stick away from the defender.
Well, Maggie Foster is a Louisville native, playing for Louisville number 22, was that aggressive little, and well done there by Maggie Foster. We were talking about stick head to stick head, right? When somebody's rolling through the middle, you've either got to intercept the pass, affect the person that's making the pass, or get your stick head on the stick head of the person that's trying to receive the pass. That's exactly what she did right there.
Skip back over to Martello off the left side. Smith shrugs off the foul, and
there were a bunch of defensive players clogging the middle that were trying to reassess their position, and I think that's a shooting space situation.
Smith, this is where she scored last time from free position.
Yep,
4 goals on the day.
Oh, great closeout.
3 assists to go with it.
Oh, but she went
Spins
in
her way
again.
through and drops it off the deck.
I will not be denied.
Unbelievable.
Just bounced it right in.
Make that 5 goals and 3 assists on the day.
then how she had to cradle and then shoot from a not. Like, her hands were not in the perfect shooting hands position, but it was a great shot. And we talked about how early on she's been touted as the heir apparent to Charlotte North, and Charlotte North right now averaging 6 goals a game. Not today, but who's picking up the slack right there?
Smith,
Right
5
there, Bella
goals
Smith.
on 7 shots. Mej did 4 goals on 5 shots. Martello, 3 goals on 5 shots. And then you have North with 1 goal on 2 shots, but 3 assists in it.
Now Bella Smith's taking the draw.
It's her day to choose.
Right on cue. If you're going to be the heir apparent, you've got to do everything that the
previous did.
The reigning person does.
Well, she's earned it.
Yeah.
5 goals, 3 assists. I'm sure.
Interesting. We'll see how this goes.
Louisville surprise, still holding Lifson in here. First draw control, though, goes to her.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're done with Smith.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's nice, kid.
Yeah, she had a good run. Charlotte North's going to look back like, yeah, I win in every one of these.
Yeah.
There's very few I don't take back our way.
A lot of pressure.
Louisville
Maggie Foster's looking for an outlet.
I was going to say Foster just felt like she was just trying to dance through a parade of BC defenders.
Dropped it right behind. Can't let your stick drop behind you.
Ooh,
whoa!
Tough shrug there by Weeks, giving a nice shoulder check to the sideline.
Interesting. Through my head, I immediately think about how that's Sarah Blaylock that just got chucked out of bounds, and she's been the one face guarding Charlotte North the whole time. So it's is that like a protect your quarterback kind of foul right there?
Sends a message.
Like, hey,
sends a message.
Leave her alone.
And
Don't you do anything to hurt her.
And we see the clock stop here. The only time you do have a clock stoppage in Mercy Rule time is if you have a card. So I think that means
they have to write it down.
Yeah, Weeks will go to the sideline there and gives a woman up opportunity here for Louisville. They need to take advantage of this here. 17-6 BC score. Blaylock dimes it through the middle. Nakazawa, quiet day. Nice bump there from Caroline. Not able to take the space.
I'd like to see Nakazawa work her way inside the middle.
Richburg
She's not
out
even
high.
taking a full cut. Like, she starts to dance in and comes right back out.
Great fundamental defense here from BC. Sticks
Yep.
everywhere. Foul. Nakazawa denied. BC trying to scoop it up from the sideline there. Possession stays with the Cards.
They got to zip it in. You got numbers behind like that. You got to zip it in and take a shot.
Blaylock sees space, but then denied there. Through the middle,
That's a
open
good one.
space. Morris on the miss. That's the opportunity they were looking for.
Good hustle by Caroline Blaylock.
Clock resets to 60. Blaylock again trying to find that middle. Pressed up high, shot not even off. Couldn't get it out of the netting. And Hall just skips it ahead.
I mean, that went the whole field.
And this is opportunity central for Smith. The pass surprisingly high.
Trying for a home run ball right there.
Trying for a highlight
Yeah,
play, too.
absolutely. Little touch pass into the goal was what she was looking for.
Now under 2:20 to go here in the third period. BC outscoring Louisville 3-1. A lot lower scoring quarter than we saw the second. 9 BC scores. I mean, you look consistently back at that second quarter of action. The stats are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was just every single possession Boston College scored for about a 7-minute period.
So then when you try to make your team feel better as you're going to video the next day, you're like, okay, if we just get rid of that second quarter. But you can't.
Yeah, it's nice to skip through it with the replay. Now, if you're Boston College on the opposite end, when you go to film room the next day is, I don't know, Louisville trying to get set here.
When you have a performance like this, I really don't know how much time you review. I think you probably go straight to whoever
You're looking
playing
forward.
next.
Yeah.
You don't need to. There's not much to review.
And, I mean, I know it's, again, a great
You're not worried about anybody's confidence. You're not. There's no great.
Kirsten, nice move
I mean,
inside,
just-
couldn't
it was
close it.
Just pickpocketed.
And, you talk about this BC team, and it's not hyperbole to say. I mean, they already look like they're in mid-season form.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they're just. It's not just the talent. I mean,
Well,
they're rolling. As
hey,
Hall was
make
jumped
the goal
up.
repay.
Hall jumped up there and was off the mark,
Hall
and Hannah
is
Morris goes
known-
back the other way for the score.
Yeah, Hall is known for coming all the way out to the 30. She likes to be part of the action, doesn't like to hang out in her goal. So a great opportunity for Louisville to sneak one in there.
And a rare miscue there for BC. And Hannah Morris, that's her 25th goal of the season. Well played from the side of the Cardinals, taking advantage. As you said, Hall stepping off her spot, and Louisville able to take advantage back to within 10. And we'll see if the draw control can get off here. 30 seconds winding down. It's going to be 50-50. They can get this up in the air.
A new draw control. Hasselbeck coming in to try and take the draw for BC.
Yeah, Hasselbeck having a nice game, a goal and assist in limited time. Stepped in early in that second frame.
Same side draw is so awkward.
Not fun for the official either.
No. Protect your face.
Now let's see if they can get the draw off just in time, and that will take us through 3. Still a 10-point advantage. Louisville able to score there right at the end of the quarter off Hannah Morris. Puts it within 10, but still at the mercy roll here at the moment. A much more competitive third quarter as we have a 17-7 score. This game really blown out in the second period. If you're just tuning in, a little quick recap for you. Boston College opened up the first quarter with a 5-3 score. Great performance by Louisville. Opened up with a 2-1 lead off Hannah Morris. Back-to-back goals. Boston College stretched out a little bit there, but at the end of the first, Nicole Peroni, a score with 33 seconds before we headed to the end of the first frame. But as we went to the second, it was all Boston College. 9 goals in that frame, dominating in draw control as well, being Louisville 9-2. And in the third period here, nicely contested, but BC getting that extra score they needed to put it into the mercy rule territory. As we'll be back here in a moment with more action from the fourth quarter. Patty Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Ables. The score, Boston College 17, Louisville 7. Right back in a moment on Cards TV. Back with you here at the start of the fourth on the Cards TV as we get ready to see the final 15 minutes of action. Patty Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Ables. A beautiful afternoon here in Louisville, Kentucky. It's certainly a big day for the ACC Conference. Right now, Louisville basketball involved in Senior Day. We've got Boston College as well. They're playing in ACC action to go alongside it. 2 great matchups for them as Boston College on the road at Georgia Tech, Virginia visiting Louisville. For men's basketball, then of course this time of year, Patty, everybody's getting ready for the ACC tournaments with men's and women's basketball, and then of course today as well, softball and baseball in action. There's no off time in the conference at the moment.
Nope.
It is 24/7.
And no off time on this field right now. Louisville just secured the draw control just because of a foul. Not actually gaining control, but that number is definitely that differential in draw controls has definitely gotten better after the third quarter.
Exactly. And as we said, the second quarter is really what changed this entire game. It's been a tremendously well-played competition between these two teams, except for the second period where you just saw Boston College really find its flow, and you look back at some of the numbers of what happened in that second period.
Well, if you take away that second period, the score right now is 8-5.
So it's a great game.
That's an entirely different game.
But as we said, you look back at that second period as Louisville
what a great
tries to get inside of Catalano.
Oh.
Punched around and eventually recovered by BC. If you look back at that second period, it's a stat blowout. 13-5 in shots BC, 10-3 shots on goal for BC, and the big advantage we talked about, draw control, 9-3. That's where really they just had more possessions than Louisville, and they made them pay. And they're looking like they're heading the other direction here with some speed once again. A little bit of a newer lineup for BC in this fourth and final frame. Chance to get some of BC's bench players in the match who we said have a ton of talent, just don't get to usually see the field with 7 All-Americans in front of them. It's tough to get any playing time if you're not in the starting line.
Well, talking about possession, I mean, Boston College hardly ever goes deep into their shot clock. So if you looked at the time of possession, that's just how many extra times they had the ball than Louisville.
Working inside. Nice little drop-off here. BC now on the move. Trying to dance towards the center.
And a great number of their goals came out of pure fast break opportunities that only took less than 10 seconds.
You saw earlier in that possession that Annabelle Hasselbeck, she steps into the game, the sister of Mallory Hasselbeck, who we've talked a little bit about earlier, both of them out of Weston, Mass., the River School High School, and great additions. And not bad when, as you talked about with coaches before, you love to have those bloodlines when you can have twins or sisters, or we've even seen in the past here triplets at Louisville. Very rarely that you see that often. But it's great to have 2 of the same siblings coming in at the same time. It makes things so nice from a chemistry standpoint, and you know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're fighting.
Yeah, unless they're having a battle. I don't think that works on the BC team.
You don't know sisters.
It's got to be tough to handle in practice, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
As we talked about, a tremendous coaching staff for both these teams, and certainly BC coming off the national championship. Keisha Walker-Weinstein doing a tremendous job, a national champion coach, really running a tremendous staff that, as we talked about, Jennifer Kent, assistant coach of the year, and the work she's done leading this team. They just have such continuity on their side, and Scott Teeter's doing a great job building here at Louisville. As we said, a 4-game winning streak coming into this, and it seems like both these teams have really solidified what they want to do going forward in the future. Boston College is just at a quicker point there.
Yeah, they're already there.
Yeah.
When you won a national championship, you're already there.
You're looking to maintain.
Yeah, now it's a matter of, I think she's already got a huge win on the season because she's got her team believing there's things to work on, right? And right away, when I talked to her, she said, this is the best midfield we've ever had. So if you have something better than your national championship team, that means your team felt the need to work in order to get something better, and that's a win. Like, that's just how do you got to find that's intrinsic in somebody already. That's what makes a leader. That's what makes an all-star, is somebody that even though they're at the top of their game, they feel like there's something they can do better.
There's a snag from Hall, BC heading the other way, and there's certainly a lot of interesting psychology that goes with trying to repeat back-to-back. I mean, in any sport, it's so difficult to do it, but Boston College certainly has the returners, the talent, and the coaching staff still in play, and that's a big part of the battle because, as you know, at any sport, usually when you win a national championship, your players go pro, your assistant coaches become head coaches, your recruiting coordinators now become assistant coaches for somewhere else. You usually lose your whole staff. They're very lucky to pretty much keep the whole core of this team.
Right, and we're going to see a free position shot right here.
BC trying to extend the lead back to 11. Stepping inside.
Oh!
Just crossed the line.
She blocked it, but blocked it down, and it crossed the goal line.
That is a tough break in favor of
could you make it
Boston
half a point?
College.
Could you make it half a point?
That was of Mallory Hasselbeck, who's had a lot of run here today. That's her first goal of the day, coming in off the bench and finding scoring opportunities. We said she's got a whole lot of talent in her skill set, appearing in 21 games as a freshman, even had a 5-game point streak going back from the end of March into April. And, of course, you look at the star power, Under Armour All-American, number 38 recruit in the country, and she can barely get any playing time.
Yeah.
As great as she is.
And so that explains the depth right there.
Phenomenal. And you look at this scoreboard behind you, 25 shots on goal for BC, and they made them pay with 18 scores.
And Louisville's goalie has done a good job. 18 goals on the board, and you're like, the goalie did a good job. Yeah, she's really done a good job.
Well, the tough part is we've mentioned today just the passing of BC. I mean, they have gotten such close-range shots. It's hard for them not to miss. Now, there's been a few plays.
Incredible shots.
We've seen a few plays from Bella Smith and Martello where they've had some rifles in there, but 90% of the time it's just been good offense.
I mean, the assisted shots have been pristine. They've just been so well executed.
And BC once again going to set it up here. And like we talked, this is a great chance if you're a BC player, you're a high-level recruit, a freshman or sophomore, you're trying to work your way in the lineup. This is your chance to showcase that you've got the skill.
Right.
Louisville's still trying to work their way back in this game as that pass well off the mark. And
but
BC, though, still control it.
Possession.
Even the bad possessions work out for them.
Just eats the clock.
Just kills more time here, as we said, still at mercy rule. Once you hit that 10-goal advantage, automatic clock run. Only time you have a clock stoppage is if you pick up a card, which we saw earlier on Weeks. And that just stops to give the officials time to write the card. Otherwise, we just have full-fledged tackling as soon as you have a 10-goal advantage. BC taking their time.
They're doing a great job passing it around the horn. Good job by Pleck.
But a foul.
She's going to get to do it again.
And it's going to be Richburg, and Richburg really crashed in hard there into Hasselbeck. And I'm surprised called the early foul, but it looked to be, but possession's going to Louisville. Not sure on that call.
Take your time, Pleck. Just need to maintain possession.
One thing I know she's going to have to work on going forward, you mentioned at the start, really had some struggles at the beginning of the game, trying to clear it out. BC did a really good job pressuring her into some poor clear outs that they were able to take advantage of.
They're struggling clearing.
Yes.
That's not a goalie thing. That's a team clear.
Now Louisville to set. As you see Morris out high.
That's a good clear.
Yeah.
That's a you got to celebrate every little win. That's a little win right there.
Hannah Morris, the one star of the show today for Louisville. 4 goals on 6 shots. I mean, you have to be highly impressed if you're Scott Teeter. You expected big seasons from Morris and Peroni, and as we said, they're paying off. Both coming into this game, 7th in the country in goals, but really impressed with the physicality Hannah Morris has played with today against the top-ranked Boston College Eagles.
That's her MO.
She had back down.
Yeah, I don't think that surprises anybody. I think what you need to worry about now if you're Louisville is how other teams will use this tape as a game plan of how to beat you. So right away we talked about how quiet Nakazawa is. Is it that she just can't handle being bumped so much by a whoa?
Speaking of bumps, rough hit there through the center. A tough tumble, and that's going to be a foul on BC. Should set up free position opportunity here for the Cardinals.
Whenever you have to re-find your goggles, there should be a shot coming.
And that's Haley Reek that took the bounce. The freshman out of Minnesota is going to get a chance to come in here and pick up her first score. Works it inside.
Oh,
Not
well
much
done.
room to operate with, but scores. Well done.
Great control of the. She didn't really have any room to cradle and kept.
It's Butler in that 22-8 win back on March the 1st. Impressive from her, and it looks like we're going to see a timeout for a moment, as I believe BC wants to take a chance to, well, I actually believe it's a Louisville timeout. We're going to take a chance to set some things up here. Score back at 18-8, 6:10 to go here on Cards TV. Patty Norton alongside me. I'm Clay Ables, just getting towards the end of this matchup here. Boston College in phenomenal performance today, as we said, really have shown why they're the top team in the country, and now with 6:10 to go gives us a chance to kind of look ahead at things to come for both of these teams. Let's first start from the Louisville side. 4-2 on the season, expected to lose here today, now down 18-8. Their schedule coming up doesn't get much easier, Patty, as you look in the near future. Wednesday at Cincinnati, 3 straight road games that leads to, and the next 2 are where it gets rough. March 13th at NC, and then March 17th at Duke. That's not a fun turnaround.
No, I mean that Cincinnati respite will be nice to have. Let people feel the benefits of ripping a ball into the goal and standing up, blocking shots, stuff like that. Let them get those good feelings back in order to be poised to take on another 2 top 10 teams in UNC and Duke. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a goalie switch maybe for Boston College. There's at some point, I mean, you really don't ever need to worry about it, but you want to think about the future and, let your young kids get a shot.
You have 3 goalkeepers on the roster. Rachel Hall, the senior starter, as we've seen the tremendous work she's done transferring in from Oregon. You have Emily English, number 23. She's the freshman goalkeeper out of Mass. And then you also have Maddie Manhannon, who is a sophomore. She would be more likely, I think, to get a chance to step in, as she has seen slight playing time in the past. Didn't get to play as a freshman, but you look at her accolades coming from the high school level at an IMG Academy. She's the all-time leader in saves at IMG. Certainly is expected to take over once Hall leaves, but we'll see the coaching decisions here from Akeisha Walker-Weinstein and what she decides to work with.
Good job by Richburg to handle that pressure. I'm really surprised we haven't seen McKee back in the circle at all for Louisville.
Not since the first.
No, I'm wondering if maybe there was a injury that we just didn't know about.
Nakazawa gives it off to Richburg. And if you're Louisville, this is about trying to prove a point here late in this game. Nakazawa, nice dip inside for the score. And that's the point we're talking about.
The goal stays, but the foul was called so that if that didn't go, she'd have had another shot. Really, I just talked about that. Like, maybe Nakazawa doesn't like getting hit. Doesn't like all that pressure from a big, physical Boston College team. But she bobbed and weaved right there and got it in.
Certainly showed off her speed at only 5 feet 4 inches, moving her way through the defense.
She is not 5'4".
That's what the roster says. But as you know, with the roster, you always add about 1.5 inches, 2
right.
inches. Makes it look good for the program. As we go back down the middle, Mercy Rule now off the board as it's back to a 9-score game.
Clock is stopped.
And as we talked about, we were just looking ahead at the schedules here, and certainly not easy as well from the BC side. They're traveling right after this on Wednesday at Denver. We saw Louisville, tough competition in their loss earlier this year. Then it's versus Yale. Then they have what looks to be the matchup of the season, Boston College at home versus Carolina. That's up March 20th at 2 p.m. That will be on ESPNU.
Behind the head flick.
2 great games to look there, or 3, I should say, with Denver, Yale, and Carolina to look at.
Good job by Louisville to handle that extreme pressure.
Looks like Morris took a little bit of a
little
bump there.
Pop to the high cheekbone.
Richburg out high.
And, sometimes they mess around there at the restraining line to allow their offensive subs to get on the field right there.
Louisville trying to work it around the horn. More space, obviously, to operate with here. BC backing off the pressure late in this match.
Nice pass.
Open opportunity.
Oh,
Catalano just lost control.
Flicked out of the top of the stick. That was a great feed from Kirsten Parker. Let's see what sets up for them.
Morris on the roll.
Woo!
Tumbles through and creates the foul.
Oh, and I really didn't know which way they were going to go with that, but then you saw the defensive foul.
She certainly initiated the contact.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about that.
Well, we know she's not afraid to initiate contact.
No doubt about it. And this should set up free position here for Hannah Morris, which for Louisville, a chance to put it within 8. And you got to expect she's going to rifle this one away. Morris, the lefty, boomed off the deck into the back of the net, and Louisville playing strong here in the 4th period, cuts it.
You against the goalie. Everybody knew by looking at her she was not about to pass that. She was set up for a sidearm from before the whistle.
We'll go back to draw control here. Now back within 8. Louisville outscoring BC 3-1 here in the 4th quarter. An impressive margin. They've been able to hold out as we'll see once again on draw control. Lifson will stay in. It looks like for Boston College, they're going to make another.
See who that is.
Oh, I think North's back in.
North is back in the center.
Yeah.
Okay,
then
kids.
Coach Walker said,
Okay,
no more playing
kids.
around.
That's when when you're with an elite team, you want to, in order to keep focus, you try to win every segment. Like in basketball, it's like every 4-minute
Exactly.
timeout, you got to win every segment. Same here. Like, it doesn't matter who we put in, y'all got to win every segment.
Collected by BC, and now they set up, and
Golly.
certainly not slowing down.
Beautiful day. Look at everybody's just hanging out, picnicking.
Man, you got to love it. And certainly as a lacrosse fan, getting to be outside, enjoy the weather. Enough that, you can wear the short sleeves and blue jeans and hang out there by the fencing area and just watch a great competition here between two top 25 squads. Louisville not ranked in the top 25, but if their performances stay where they're at here, they're definitely going to move into it.
Yeah, they're on the doorstep.
Yes, right outside of it with some votes is BC. Certainly a joy to watch as well if you're a fan of lacrosse at any level. #1 team in the country, defending national champions, and just showing their incredible skill set today. And I think you put it perfectly, Patty. They just have a different gear on this team that not many teams in the country can match. Shot up inside.
Great job by Pleck.
And well recovered.
That was a test your boundaries kind of shot. She was taking it from far right side to trying to go far left side, and didn't have a lot of space to make it, but good job for Pleck to get that save.
And speaking of goal chains, that's actually a Desch who stepped in
Was
back
that?
there. Yeah, she stepped in back there. Yeah, it gets you with the
I
one,
didn't
the
even-
31
yeah.
and the 1. They just put her in. Nice stop there from a Desch.
Well, and good for Adesh. This is like her hometown squad, right? She's a Foxborough kid.
Yeah,
Give her a shot to stand up some of the college kids from her.
yeah,
back
she's
home.
certainly Foxborough strong because you talk about it. The sophomore at 5'2" in goal, Sarah Desch. She's Foxborough High School out of Foxborough, Mass. So she's
Yeah.
as Foxborough as it gets. Is living about 6 minutes away from the Patriot Stadium is where that high school is at. As nice.
Look at the interception by Hall.
Well played by Hall.
Oh,
she's not afraid to be aggressive.
But you know what? You come out of cage, you're a player. So I'm right there with I think it was Hannah Morris that sat her down for a sec.
And we saw in that third period, right before the end, Hannah Morris able to capitalize on Hall. She stepped out too deep from her position in goal, and Morris just turned around and flicked it in for the finish. And as you said, that's the one thing Hall has received some criticism for, is that she's not afraid to step out of goal.
Right.
That sometimes makes plays like that with the interception, but sometimes they can score on you.
It's a blessing and a curse, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I now see that Adesh is in goal because she's
Definitely a high difference.
She's substantially shorter from Pleck.
Yeah, it's a little difference on the height, to say the least.
And even with you add a crouch to that, and it's a big difference. Down to a minute and a half.
Pushed inside, shot up. Nice save there from Adesh, but I think there's a foul behind the play. No call.
No, they're giving it to the Cards.
BC certainly was looking for it.
Yep.
Louisville, as you said, trying to finish here on a strong note. Down by as much as 11 in this game. Have outscored BC 3-1 in this fourth quarter. They can have a chance, continue to apply the pressure.
It's a nice pass. So I was just about to say, give us another look at how a different Louisville goalie handles the start of the clear, and she did a great job.
Louisville,
I mean, far less pressure than in the beginning of the game.
Louisville only one win lifetime against BC. Today certainly is not going to add that win, as BC can now hold for the last possession if they can move it forward. But certainly strides made today. A rough second quarter that really took this game away, Patty, but overall impressed with Louisville's performances.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that Coach Teeter can bring into the locker room and say they did well. I think there's also a lot of things they can work on now. And I think,
Another score to end it. Now that,
yeah,
once again, that's
that
Hasselbeck.
might not taste too good.
The younger sister, once again, that's her second score of the day.
There's a defender without her goggles on. That's Sarah Blaylock having a conversation with the referee.
Yeah, that's Mallory Hasselbeck with the score. Her sister Annabelle scored earlier in this fourth. As now it looks like we'll go back for the final draw control. 24 seconds left in the match. As we said, things are going to get very interesting here between conference competition and non-conference, as Louisville will be at Cincinnati next week, March the 9th. That's a big matchup for the Cardinals, and right back the other direction for Boston College. Things will not slope for them, as we said, they're going to be at Denver. So these schedules are going to really test these two opponents.
Well, and basically nothing is going to deter Boston College from their march to a national championship game. Like, the only thing that I think can stop them is themselves. They've shown they have everything you need to repeat. Louisville has everything they need to build themselves to the next level, to become that consistent top 25 team that keeps this matchup under a 10-goal game.
And certainly huge strides taken for Louisville. As we said, they're going to lose their 4-game win streak, which was their best since 2016, the first under Scott Teeter. Yeah, Hall she has no worries.
Like, I'm going for goal, y'all.
She has no worries as Osborne will run out the clock here, and that will be the end of the matchup. Boston College wins 19-10. For Patty Norton, I'm Clay. Saying so long, and thank you for tuning in to another production of Cards TV.